Mercedes-Benz gauge cluster LED light conversion. What you're going to want to do is remove this under panel. Mine's already removed. Reach your hand through the back and pop out the dash. This is how I do it, because it's so you don't pull on this plastic right here. It just pops out pretty easy. I'm gonna try to do it without removing the whole thing. I'm gonna reach back there and pull out the little light plugs off camera. Okay, if you look at the top of the gauge cluster, you see this channel. That's where the light socket is, right there. And then the same thing on this side. Just reach behind there and grab the socket out. Here are the bulbs removed. Okay, so here are the LED bulbs that I got really cheap from eBay, and I'm going to put them into these sockets. You just pop the light out and you put the new bulb into the socket. It's pretty easy. I had to modify these a little bit because when you get them, they come like this and they're not even glued in. They're just held in by these little wires. So I went and hot glued them in, and I also positioned the wires. You need to have one wire on one side and the other wire on the other side. You don't want them like this, how they come, where the wire's bent over both sides. You don't want that, because on the original bulbs, there's only a wire on one side. But the other thing you have to keep in mind with these LED bulbs is they can only light up one way. If you put power reverse polarity, they won't light up. So there might be a little trial and error. When I plug it in, I might have to take it out and try the other side. And these, I don't even know if they're going to work. I'm just going to test them out, and I will let you guys know if they're good. Here is the original bulb. I just have it wired to a remote control airplane battery. It's 11 volts, so it's probably a little dimmer than it should be. And here is the LED bulb. Doesn't look much brighter, but I'm gonna install it and see how it goes. And here are the LED bulbs ready to go in. Well, I ended up removing the whole cluster because I just remembered that my potentiometer is bad. So I'm going to show you how to just bypass this, because you can buy another one, I believe, but I'm just going to bypass it and make sure that the lights are on full bright all the time. If you're wondering how to take this panel off, pop it out like I showed you, and then reach your hand around back here and start unplugging these clips. You start unplugging these lights and stuff, and then here's the speedometer cable, and then on this side you have the main connection and then the oil pressure line, which you're going to need a 10mm to spin this and a 14mm to hold this. Now, to remove the potentiometer, all you got to do is loosen this screw and then pull it out. And what you're left with are these two poles, and I'm going to solder a wire across them. And that will take care of that. Okay, so here's the potentiometer delete. Basically, I soldered these two poles together off camera. Here's a tip for when you're removing and reinstalling the gauge cluster. The speedometer cable right here that goes through the firewall, it's clipped. I can't get it on camera. There's a factory plastic clip to a piece of metal here, you need to unclip it so then you can pull some more slack for the speedometer cable behind the dash, because you can't get the dash in far enough to reach the cable. So by removing the clip in there, then you can pull, like I just did, you can pull this probably about another 2 inches. And then you can reach this a lot easier. Also, when you're reinstalling this, the order to make everything fit is first you do this main plug, then the oil line, then this clip, then the speedometer cable, and then you can go ahead and do this clip, these 2 lights, and this wire. And I think there's one more. I think that's it, yeah. It's way too bright outside to see the lights, but oh, you can see it right there. So that one's the right way, but the one on the other side, I have to go back and turn it around for it to work correctly. Okay, I flipped that LED bulb around, and now it is working. I can see it. You can see it barely. And I'm done. I'll check it later tonight. I'm noticing that this other set of lights also, all the lights are blown, all the bulbs are blown. So I'm going to try to find some cheap LED replacements for these as well.